All right. Wow. What a freaking game. What a game that was. We're going live. Let's talk about it. Cowboys 40, Packers 40, as I'm just testing out if I'm live or not. It looks like I am, and I am live. So let me make a couple of adjustments here. Get on in. Get on in. Get on in. It is the Cowboys post-game show, a late night Dallas Cowboys post-game show, one that ends in a tie. A freaking tie ends it, and that is where we are at right now. Like, can you believe that? A tie. That's where we're at. So if you want to talk about it, get in. This is going to be real quick. Cowboys post-game show. I know it's super late, but if you want, dive into the comments. If not, it's all good. This will be up on my page for anybody to comment on about the Cowboys game. Cowboys and Packers. It ends in a tie up in Dallas. Just absolutely. I cannot believe that this game of all games ended in a tie. The way it went down, 40-40 score, the way the Cowboys, they played some heroic ball. And Dak Prescott, for one, played an outstanding game. I thought this was one of the best games that Dak Prescott has played, man. I mean, you look at some of the throws that Dak made, some of the big time clutch moment throws that Dak Prescott made, especially in the overtime where he hits George Pickens on the sideline. He gets the Cowboys to the Green Bay 43, and then later on a second and six, the Tolbert sideline catch, the Dak throw while backpedaling with two defenders in his face, a fadeaway type of throw on target, pressure in his face, the backpedal throw on the move, just absolutely incredible. The Cowboys in overtime, they settle for a field goal, second and goal from the 4. Dak takes off to the left side. It looked like there's a clear lane for Dak to probably maybe fight for the goal line, possibly get into the end zone. But Micah Parsons comes around the right side, pursues him, makes the chase down tackle, officially credited with a sack, saved a touchdown right there, and possibly the game for the Green Bay Packers. Got to give credit where it's due. Third and goal from the 4, incomplete pass. It was a throwaway deep back end zone, and then Aubrey from 22 makes it Cowboys 40-37. Cowboys defense. Man, dude. What do we got to say about that Cowboys defense? Dive into the comments about the Cowboys defense, because today it was just another one of those cases where the Cowboys defense, they couldn't really stop anything, man. I know they had their moments. They got a lot more pressure. They did some things, right? But when it came down to nut cutting time, the Cowboys defense on third down, they gave up 10 out of 14 conversions to the Green Bay Packers on third downs. That's not great. Green Bay still managed to put 489 yards on this Cowboys defense. Green Bay did average 6.2 yards per play. In the red zone, especially, Green Bay was 5 of 6. So Green Bay, they did the damn thing. They moved the ball on offense, and they looked good for the most part. Green Bay did have a turnover, of course, one turnover, but hey, I don't know, man. A tie in the NFL kind of has me dumbfounded right now. And the game ends in a tie. And let me just say this. I think ties are dumb. I think ties are absolutely stupid. In overtime, if both teams get a possession, and let's say both teams are tied after each possession, just like the way Green Bay and Dallas were, it doesn't matter about the time. After that point, they should play to a sudden death. When Green Bay gets that field goal on fourth down, okay, it should be Cowboys possession. It should be a kickoff going to the Cowboys, and then you revert back to the old school classic overtime rules, and you get a possession, or you get the ball with a chance to win. Sudden death. And if the Cowboys were to pull it off, so be it. If Green Bay were to pull it off, so be it. A tie in the NFL just doesn't sit right with me, especially with how these two teams battle tonight and put on what I would consider a classic in the lore of Cowboys and Packers historical games. I mean, it's a regular season game. It's week 4, but man, this was a good game. Each team was trading touchdowns in the second half. The way the second half started, Cowboys received in the second half. They end up punting. Green Bay gets the ball. They get a touchdown, a Jacobs run from 1 yard out. Cowboys then get the ball. A response drive, Dak to Ferguson from 8 yards out. Touchdown. Boom. Green Bay gets the ball again. It's another Green Bay touchdown. Another Jacobs run. Cowboys get the ball back on the next drive. It's a 14-play, 77-yard drive where Williams gets a touchdown in a wildcat formation. Green Bay then gets a touchdown. Love over the middle to Dobbs for Dobbs' third touchdown. Then Cowboys get another touchdown, make it 37-34 with under a minute. George Pickens, an incredible catch down the sideline. Nice move, makes it to the end zone. And then at the end, McManus ties it up and we go to overtime. But these two teams were trading blows out there. Absolutely trading blows. A pleasure to watch. A disgusting taste in my mouth that this game ends in a tie. There needs to be a winner and there needs to be a loser in the NFL. This game is too high stakes. There's only 17 of these damn things a year. And for it to end in a tie just does not sit right with me. Let me know your thoughts on Cowboys, Packers. Get them to me. Get them in the chat right now. I'll read some of your thoughts. What were your thoughts? What do you think the Cowboys did well? What do you think some of the Cowboys' deficiencies were? What did you think about Micah Parsons and how Micah Parsons fared in his return to AT&T Stadium? Micah Parsons' return, I mean, let's be honest. Micah Parsons was stymied for the most part. Micah Parsons got a pressure too. He got the sack at the end, which I, called out. I thought it was a great play by Parsons for the chase down sack of Dak. He saved a touchdown, most definitely. You got to give credit where it's due. But for the most part, the Cowboys are doing a great job of running away from him. They ran towards him a few times, double teams, chips. There was one moment where Parsons almost had a strip sack of Dak Prescott, swiped his left hand, and Dak, by the grace of God, was able to get the ball away in the nick of time. Micah coming back, all the emotions, all the things said by Jerry, whatever, right? He's back. The game's over with. It's done. I thought the Cowboys, for the most part, handled Micah Parsons pretty damn well. And I was kind of impressed with how the Cowboys game planned to, for one, keep the ball away from Parsons as much as possible. And for two, to help the offensive line out, to get those chips and to kind of keep Dak Prescott away from the side that Micah Parsons was on for the majority of the night. So what were your thoughts on Micah Parsons? Get those in. Going to go to the comments in a minute, but I just wanted to say, man, Dak Prescott, absolutely out of his mind, out of his damn mind tonight. And if there's any Cowboys fans who are still wary of what Dak Prescott is, what he can be, look, he's a 10-year veteran. He's been here. He's been in these moments where the Cowboys have to get a game-winning drive. He almost had his 8th game-winning drive. Almost had his 8th game-winning drive of his career. You saw the stat up there. But the defense couldn't hold, man. Dak was 31 of 40 for 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked once, a 124.9 rating, averaged about 8 yards per throw. Dak Prescott also with a rushing touchdown, something that we hadn't seen in quite some time. And that was a run that I need to see a little bit more of. Dak up the middle, Dak around the goal line, trying to use his legs, try to do it late, just couldn't get in. Comments, reactions, get them in. I know it's super, super late. I'm going to end this one here shortly. 40-40, Cowboys postgame show. 40-40. It's a freaking tie, man. A freaking tie. We stayed up. We watched 4 hours of freaking football. Some damn good back and forth, slugfest, big plays made by both sides, and it ends in a tie. Disgusting taste in my mouth that it ended in a tie. Jaime's in here. Jaime said our O-line. Jaime said, excuse me, he said, I said our O-line would shut out Micah. Yeah, shut him out for the most part, for sure. Shut him out for the most part. Got to give credit to the O-line. Like I said, they did the damn thing. The one sack that the one sack that Dak Prescott did take was, though, from Micah Parsons at the end. He did save a touchdown. So credit where credit's due. Luis says, can we please figure out why the middle of the field is constantly open and zone every week? No pass rush don't help. So when you don't have the pass rush, like Collinsworth, look, a lot of people like to crap on Chris Collinsworth as an analyst. I think he's actually quite good. He explained it pretty well early on in the game. When the Cowboys can't get pass rush and they're playing zone for the most part, those defenders have to cover longer. The zone then gets spread wide, and that leaves those pockets in the middle, those pockets in the seams, the pocket in the middle, and the pocket in the other seam. That's why there's all these big seams, because when the Cowboys can't get pass rush, the zone gets stretched. I thought Chris did a great job of explaining that. 40-40 tie. Sounds so weird to say, a freaking tie. Cowboys are now one. Let's see the record. 1-2-1 on the season. Absolute crazy. Luis also says Dak Prescott's going to have to be damn near elite every week just to have a chance at a W. Yeah, I detailed this before. I said this in the Giants overtime victory a couple of weeks back. They're going to be in shootouts. These are going to be the kind of games you have to expect. The offense is going to have to outscore what their defense gives up, because their defense, I posted some rankings earlier this week, damn near bottom 5, bottom 2 in the league in almost every major defensive statistic category. It's a horrible defense. And look, they got their asses torn up tonight again. Jordan Love went for 337, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. As I detailed, they were 10 of 14 on third downs, 5 of 6 in the red zone. The Cowboys couldn't make a stop to save their life. We saw it at the end of the game in regulation when the offense took the lead with the Pickens touchdown. They gave up a big drive, and McManus ended up getting the field goal. We saw it right there in overtime, albeit, they had a chance. The Packers almost botched that so hard, though. When they snapped the ball with 6 seconds left, Love takes a shot to the end zone. It's incomplete with 1 freaking second left. How freaking lucky do you have to be to botch that situation, get a shot to the end zone? It's incomplete, and you still have time to kick the tying field goal. It sounds weird to say, but that's how it was. Adrian says, Dak's the man. I agree with you. Dak has always been really, really good. Cowboys fans who hate Dak Prescott, I think you are misled with what you see sometimes. Dak plays phenomenal for the most part. Daniel says that last drive needs to be a TD, not in and a field goal. They went away from the run in OT. Micah made no difference in the game. Well, Daniel, I will counter that and say, first of all, I agree. It obviously needs to be a touchdown. You can't end it in a field goal. They did go away from the run in a little bit in overtime. I have the overtime drive chart for the Cowboys right in front of me. Let's see. I took 12 pages of notes today, which I'm an insane ass for doing that. But in the end, in overtime, they had that Pickens sideline grab, huge throw. They had the Tolbert sideline grab to the 5. They ran it with Williams to the 4, and then Prescott tried to take it in for himself. And to your last point, Daniel, you say Micah made no difference in the game. Micah literally made the game, the touchdown saving tackle on Dak Prescott, which counted for a sack. So that's the thing here, man. Look, I know y'all guys have this thing against Micah Parsons because he's a Green Bay Packer and because whatever happened with Jerry Jones, et cetera, in the negotiations, right? But to say he had no impact is false when he literally made the saving touchdown tackle on Dak Prescott in overtime for a sack. So that is impact, in my opinion. Moving on. David says, defense has a lot of flaws. Dak proved he's the best QB in the division and top 10 in the league. That's a hot take. Game on his back and he performed. Let's see. Dak, the best quarterback in the division. Let's go. Hurts. Hurts is good. Okay. Jaden Daniels. He's good. He's hurt right now. And then the Giants with Jackson Dart. I'll put Dak. That's a tough one, man. My Cowboys heart wants to say Dak is number 1, but I'm going to put him behind Hurts. I'll just put him behind Hurts for now. Hurts, Dak, Daniels, Dart. But I do agree he's playing really good football right now, and he is playing like a top 10 quarterback. Roel's in here. Shout out to Roel. Roel says, and I think Roel just had a birthday recently, so happy birthday, Roel. Roel says, lambing out gave Dak and Pickens some chemistry tonight. Williams gave us balance tonight. Dak is a dog. He's an absolute animal, fool. Dak has been an animal this year, and he's going to have to play out of his damn mind every game to give this team a chance, and he did that tonight by going 31 of 40, for 319, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Stop the Dak Prescott slander and appreciate what you have. This is a damn good quarterback who makes a lot of freaking plays for this team. If you have any more, get them in. Defense, as I have right here on the screen, still tons to be desired. Could not make the stops to win the game. Multiple times where they could have made a stop. Late in the game, overtime, giving up big chunk plays to the Packers. The overtime, for instance. Let's look at what the Packers were able to do in overtime. The Cowboys did get a good pressure by Kenny Clark, but it was an ineligible man downfield from the Green Bay Packers. But on a 3rd and 6, the Packers incomplete pass to Wicks, Bland on coverage. Cowboys brought the blitz on that one. Could have been a flag on Bland, a little bit handsy. But on 4th and 6 with 3:50 left in overtime, they got a first down to Matthew Golden to the 38. Then Wilson pops a big run to the 47. Then Wilson pops another one to the 40, a huge run of 13. You go with a 2-minute warning. Wicks catches the ball at the 25. Slant to Dobbs to the 19. They go Wilson to the 13, and so on and so forth until the last waning moments. The Cowboys gave up some chunk plays today. Couldn't get off the damn field, and that's where the defense is right now. Instant reactions to this Cowboys game, 40-40 tie. This is the first ever post-game show I've done where it ends in a freaking tie. 40-40, it ends in a tie for this Cowboys and Packers showdown. Now, moving forward, who do the Cowboys have next? I believe the Dallas Cowboys. They have the Jets in New York next Sunday at 12 o'clock. So you're coming off of a tie. I would say it's encouraging, considering that Green Bay was a 6.5-point favorite, considering that everybody and their mother picked Green Bay. And you know what? Hand up, I picked Green Bay to win. I picked Green Bay to win this morning on the Sunday Sports Rush. I picked them to win 35-14. I had no faith based on what I saw from the Bears game. I had no faith that CD was out. I had no faith that Tyler Booker and Cooper Beebe were out. I thought the injuries were going to mount up. I thought the Cowboys weren't going to be able to sustain their offense. And I thought that they wouldn't be able to handle the Green Bay defense. I was wrong. Foul on me. I was wrong. I will be wrong more times than not when I make predictions, but I will react to the game accordingly because that's what I do. 40-40 tie. Get some reactions in here. I'm going to end this in about 5 minutes because it is super late and a lot of us have to go to work tomorrow morning. Sam is in here. Sam says, I'm with you. I can't stand ties. Our defense is still a major concern. Dak is playing great, but it's frustrating that 37 points isn't enough to seal the win in regulation. Absolutely. Frustrating. You score 37 and you still can't get a win in regulation. He says Pickens really stepped up and Williams has the run game looking promising. That clutch grab by Tolbert gave us a real chance to pull it out. Defensively, I like the energy Houston is bringing. Great point. But the constant self-inflicted mistakes and penalties are killing us. Yes. James Houston needs to be on the field more. That dude is putting pressure. That dude is making plays back there. Love me some James Houston. Get him out there. I thought Williams had a decent game. Had a boneheaded penalty, of course, with the face mask. Clowney had some moments where he kind of flashed. We even had a Mozzie Smith sighting early on in the game, guys. Wow. But there is one penalty that kind of stands out to me. And it was the Marist Leah foul. Unnecessary roughness penalty with 4:50 left in the game. It was a 2nd and 6. It was a drop by Wilson from the Packers. Wilson drops it, and then Maris Leofeld literally runs about 7, 8, 9 steps and just shoulders him to the ground. Just an absolute dumbass penalty. A stupid freaking penalty that cost the Cowboys because that extended the drive. That gave them 15 yards, and that led to Green Bay going up 34-30. Now, that's a tough one, folks. That's a tough one. And Maris Leofeld, just idiot. And the Cowboys, man, 11 penalties for 95 yards. That's pretty bad right there when you look at things. Cowboys did rush for 117 on 26 attempts, 4.5 per carry. And Williams had 20 carries, 85 yards, 1 touchdown. I do like Williams. I like him a lot. He also was able to pull in 3 catches for 15 yards. Outstanding. George Pickens, 8 for 134, 2 touchdowns on 11 targets. He stepped up as the number 1 receiver today. Jalen Tolbert stepped up, I thought, 4 for 61, 15 yards per catch. So if you can get that while CD is out, I think the Cowboys can manage quite well. Matt's in here. Oh, my goodness, Matt. Congrats. Well, congrats. Yeah, congrats on the tie. It's so weird. I don't even know what to say. Congrats on the tie? Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, y'all could have lost. But congrats on the tie, yes. Matt says both quarterbacks balled out. Disappointed feeling coming out with the tie. Micah definitely made an impact. Unfortunately, nobody else on Packers defense stepped up. It was an ugly game from both sides, man, from both defenses. Totally agree with that. And Matt, thanks for getting in. Matt's a Packers fan, so we're relishing in a tie, I suppose. We're relishing in a tie. Daniel also says penalties killed the Cowboys every year. That's on coaching. Cowboys would have been in better positions if they didn't kill themselves. Exactly. If you don't kill yourselves with 11 penalties for 95 yards, if you don't commit personal foul penalties and give up 15 extra yards, that obviously sucks. And then Luis is in here. He says, shop the picks from the Parsons trade and just see if anyone bites if the plan is to win this year. Try and find a pass rusher. So I've seen this floated out, and I know I'm going to end this here in a couple of minutes because it's super, super late. I appreciate y'all being here on the Cowboys post-game show. 40-40 tie. Ties are dumb. Ties are stupid. Hate this crap. But it is a tie. That's where we're at. Cowboys are 1-2-1 on the season. They travel to New York to take on the Jets next Sunday at noon. So, shop the picks, huh? Well, who could possibly be out there? I've heard one name being bantied about by some of the Cowboys guys that I speak with on the Sunday Sports Rush. Some of the talks that are had out there. Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. Keep an eye on that. If Jerry gets desperate enough and he sees that, oh man, we're one pass rusher away. Guess what? You used to have that pass rusher. But if we're one pass rusher away, I could see Jerry Jones wanting to make a splash, wanting to bring in a pass rusher like a Trey Hendrickson or Trey Hendricks. Sorry, I get his name confused. Let me look that up. I sound like a dumbass. Trey Hendrickson. There we go. From the Bengals. Yeah, I can see him making a splash like that. Just something to keep an eye on. Some rumor mill talk out there amongst the amongst the Twitter sphere and all that good stuff. But it is a tie. It's 40-40. It's disgusting. The NFL needs to change this crap. Each team, if tied after one possession, should go to a sudden death. It's that easy, NFL. Make the change happen. It'll be better for the game. The NFL should never end in a tie. 40-40, Packers and Cowboys. That's where we're at tonight. So if you don't have anything else to say, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because it is super late tonight, but I wanted to get on. I thought the Cowboys showed heart. I thought they made plays when needed. I thought the offense looked outstanding. The defense, though, another game where the defense gives up a ton of yards. Another game where the defense, at least this game they got a sack. 4 quarterback hits officially. No interceptions for the defense. No fumble recoveries for the defense. The Cowboys just couldn't do anything on that side of the ball, man, and that's going to be the story all damn year long. Unfortunately, I think we're going to be in a lot more shootouts. I think there's going to be a lot more craziness games like this, a lot more wild-ass endings like this, and it's only week 4. It is only week freaking 4. We're in for a wild ride here, Cowboy fan. We're in for a freaking wild ride. Jonathan's in here. Okay, one more question, Jonathan, and then I'm ending it. Thanks for getting in, Jonathan. Love you, man. Jonathan says, why couldn't we have a second overtime? What are your thoughts on the second overtime? So real quickly, just to rehash that, the NFL doesn't do second overtime. They just play 10 straight up minutes. And if it's tied, it's tied. Each team does get a possession, unlike previous overtimes where one team was guaranteed a possession, the other team was not. As I said, Jonathan, they don't play a second overtime. It ends after 10 minutes of overtime play. I think that's stupid. I think if both teams are tied after 10 minutes, or if both teams are tied after each team has a possession, then it should go to a sudden death type of situation. Next team score wins. I think that's the simplest solution that you could possibly have to this tie that we have tonight. 40-40, Cowboys and Packers. Cowboys now 1-2-1. Packers now 2-1-1. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I got to go. Work beckons in the morning, early wake-up call. I love you guys. Crazy-ass game, 40-40 tie. I thought the defense in moments played better. At least they got a sack. At least they got 4 quarterback hits. That's an improvement, but still a lot to be desired when it comes to giving up big yardage, giving up big chunk plays. They gave up 489 total yards to the Green Bay Packers, 325 passing, 164 rushing, about 4.7 yards per pop, and they allowed the Packers to convert 10 of 14 third downs, and they allowed the Packers to convert in the red zone 5 out of 6 opportunities. That's bad. That is still freaking horrendous. All right. Still horrible, still bad. Hopefully it can improve, but I'm going to hold reservations on if they can improve because it's just not there right now, man. It really isn't. I don't think the talent is there necessarily in the secondary. Hooker is out, which kind of sucks, but could also be a good thing for the Cowboys secondary. Wanye Thomas will get some time, it looks like. So yeah, that is where we're at, man. This defense is going to put the Cowboys in positions where the offense must score 30, 35 points or even more to possibly win a freaking football game. And for that, that's going to drive us crazy. That's going to give us heart attacks. And that's going to make for one wild ass freaking Cowboy season. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Cowboys are 1-2-1. It's a 40-40 tie. It's the Cowboys postgame show. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting your comments in. Y'all guys have a great rest of your night. Once again, 40-40 Cowboys and Packers. The postgame show wraps up. I'll talk to you guys later on.